My name is Wayne and welcome back to the channel. We need to get the car on the road, and today we're going to get one step closer by bleeding the brakes. And we're going to do this as a one-man job with no special tools other than a water bottle. Now, a little backstory, I did do the traditional two-man brake bleeding method on this car. I had a buddy come over, give me a hand, and this was a completely new system, right? Everything was bone dry, so it took a little bit of work, and we only had so much time, and we got the brakes really good. We weren't getting any air out, but the pedal is still a little spongy on the first 2 times you press it. The third time, and after that, it's nice and firm how you want it to be. But anyway, that's where I left off. So, but the system's good. It's not leaking anywhere. The master's full. But I'm going to try another method now. For one, I'm by myself. And number two, there's got to be some air trapped in the system. So we're going to try the single person method today and see how that works. Here's the water bottle that I chose. I prefer it to be tall and slender. That way there's less amount of volume of brake fluid you have to put in. And the biggest thing is make sure it's clean and dry. And here's the brake hose. This hose actually came with my brake calipers, but if you don't have it, it's available anywhere at a local hardware store, and it has 5/16 OD. So now we're drilling the large hole in the cap. So you just want to make sure you drill your 5/16 hole slightly off center. That way you have room for your vent hole. So now we're ready to put the vent hole in the lid. And once you're all done with the 2 holes, just make sure your cap is free and clear of any burrs. You don't want any of those little plastic bits to fall down in your brake fluid. The last thing you want is to contaminate your braking fluid. Now, first thing we're going to do is make sure our master cylinder is full of brake fluid. So now we're ready to fill up our bottle, and we're going to put about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of brake fluid into our container. That way we don't run out of fluid while we're trying to bleed the system. Alright, that should do it. We just want to have enough to keep the hose submerged while it's in the bottle. Go. Right, now we'll start on the right rear and work our way around from furthest away to the closest. So we'll do right rear, right front, then left front. All right, so I just hooked up the hose to the brake bleeder, and I have the about a couple inches of brake fluid in the bottom of the container. The hose is all the way at the bottom. Now I'm going to move on to the left rear, and before I start, I'm going to put half of this fluid back into the master, or whatever it'll accept. And I was able to pour about 1.5 inches of fluid back in the master. So now we're going to put our cap back on and make sure our tube is all the way down at the bottom, which it is. And try to make sure we don't make a mess. Slide it over the bleeder valve first, and then we're going to just carefully crack it open. Okay. Alright, that's pretty good for the left rear, and now we're going to move over to the right front. Keep working our way around. Alright, so I just did this actually one more round just to be on the safe side and try to make sure I have the brakes bled as best as they can be, and I think it's really consistent now, so I'm happy with it. So the pedal feel is good from really the first to even the third and fourth pump. It doesn't really get any harder or change, so I think we've done it, you know. I think I'm finally there. So well, I feel really good about this. Let's go and top off the master cylinder and make sure it's full. I really like this Bear master cylinder. It's really slick. It has these nice threaded in caps for each port, front and back. And then underneath each screw in a threaded plug, there's a nice rubber seal as well. So real quality component. So not cheap, but big. I'm a firm believer in get what you pay for. Alright, so it's just a little low, not bad. The second round I didn't go through much fluid as far as pushing it out because there wasn't much air at all, and maybe even any, but I'm going to top it off. Alright, now that the master cylinder is full, we're going to go and clean out the bleeders with some fluid just to make sure we don't have any brake fluid left that can get on the caliper and take the finish off. That's right, it always feels good to be able to knock something off our list. And we can finally check off bleeding the brakes. Well, that's going to be it for today. Man, I'm so glad that project is done. We crossed it off the list and the brakes are bled. And now we can move on to something that I know everyone's been waiting for. That's right, next video, we're going to get the wheels and tires on the car. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. If you turn on the bell notification, you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.